Toastmaster of the evening, our dearest club president, fellow Toastmasters, and dearest guests, good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Let me ask you a question. How many of us here in the room would like to believe that they are generous? Raise your hand if that's a yes. Great. Now let me tell you a striking fact. Most of us humans are very cheap. And you know what we're cheap with? Not money.
Emotions.
Not time. Emotions. You know which emotion I'm talking about? I'm talking about love. And I'm not talking about what crossed your minds first. The love that we're cheap about and with is the love that we hold for ourselves, and the love that we express to ourselves, and the love that we actually owe ourselves. Now, self-love. Let me tell you what self-love is not. Self-love is not that state when you feel that you are the smartest person in the room and you know everything that you're talking about. That's not self-love. Self-love is not that moment of ecstasy, is not that moment of joy. That's not self-love. Self-love is a permanent state of self-appreciation, self-awareness, and self-acceptance, where you are aware of who you are as a person. You know yourself, and you're embracing your flaws before you're embracing the advantages, the good stuff about you that makes you sometimes feel that you're the smartest person in the room. Now, what you have to do is to set limits, set boundaries, learn how to say no. Just make that step, take that action. And please be aware that I'm not asking you to become a narcissistic psychopath who does not care about others and who's too selfish. I'm not asking for that. However, as I was researching my speech tonight, I was mind blown by the fact that there were dictionaries that actually put the word self-love with synonyms like ego and big head. Yes, big head. I'm not asking you to do that. But here we are cheap with our love to ourselves, that we think that if you love yourself, if you put yourself first, you're egocentric, and you're not. Sometimes putting yourself on the top of that list is not bad. It's actually good. For me to speak about a topic like self-love and putting yourself first, and for those who know me, this comes to me as a very weird topic, because I have thought my entire life that you must, as a human being, be polite and considerate, be diligent towards human beings' needs and desires and wants, even if that means forgetting yours. And that's wrong. I was wrong, and if you think that too, you are wrong too. Why? How can you offer love to people in your life if you're unable to love yourself? How can you go and present your work deliverables every day when you cannot love yourself? You owe yourself first. You pay that debt first and then pay everyone else. Because in our everyday lives, we have so many things that we need to deliver to people. Demands and tasks, and people want this and people want that, and birthdays and events and dinners and things to do, and a listening ear to offer and a ride to pay back. We have all of that. When was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror and asked yourself, what about me? Do that, because I would like to believe that I have a rich experience that taught me. If I don't do that, and if I put myself on the bottom of that list, it's not only me who's going to be harmed, but it's also the people around me that really expect me to be at the top of everything I do. But I won't be able to do that if I'm unable to love myself. And if you want some takeaways, the world is yours to search how can you love yourself. You can love the skin you're in. You can provide healthy input, food, reading, whatever that you want to do to make yourself feel better. You can learn about yourself more. You can take yourself out to that one nice meal on your own. When someone asks you, table for how many, sir? Or table for how many, ma'am? You go table for one. Because you owe yourself that. You owe yourself that more than you owe it to anyone else in your life. The reason why I'm speaking about this is that we forget how to appreciate ourselves. The whispering and very slow voice inside us that tells us, you don't deserve this. You are better than this. You are much, much better than this. Walk away from that toxic person. Do deliver the promises and fulfill them, the ones that you took to yourself. Do make that project. Start working on that project you have been promising yourself that you're going to do. Join that training. Start that diet. Go to the gym. Whatever you said to yourself one day that you will, and you didn't because of everything else that has been pulling you into many different directions, do it. Do it, because if you do not do it to yourself, no one will ever be able to provide that to you. I'm going to conclude my speech with a quote from Buddha, and it says the following: you can search throughout the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of your love and affection than you are yourself, and that person is not to be found anywhere. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Thank you.